What's up, guys? I see that people are filing in. I just need to grab a battery real quick, plug it into this little light over here, and then we will get rocking. Sorry I'm late today. All kinds of stuff hitting the fan. Anyway, there we go. Oh, I think my light's broken. Okay. People are flying in. Sweet. All right, here we go. All right, guys, welcome to the live stream today. Thanks for joining the fun. Hope everybody's having a good Friday and looking forward to the weekend. We are going to be, I know that I said that I didn't really, I was going to maybe give you updates and not really mess with this suspending objects thing again, but it's frustrating and I want to find the answer, or at least get something. So we're going to do a few more tests. Let me switch camera views real quick. So if you haven't been watching the other two, if you didn't see the other two, we were trying to suspend an object in the middle of resin without any visible trace of how you're holding it there. And like, you know, you can do that pretty easily with light objects that don't weigh a lot, but for heavier things, that's kind of a problem. And you need to kind of hold it in place, pour half the resin, let that kind of set up and stick and hold that thing in there, take away whatever you use to hold it in place, and then pour the rest of it. Now the problem is, what can happen is if you let that first layer skin over completely, like it's hard, and then you pour another layer, you can see witness lines, which in the past I really haven't noticed that much, but I got a really bad witness line on the first blank we turned, which was I think last week. I'm getting a little confused because I'm doing stuff in the shop too. So there's a really bad witness line, and I want to find a better answer and get better blanks, basically, get rid of that witness line. And so I turned, we had one made with liquid diamonds epoxy resin, which I actually let sit overnight. So it was a pretty long time, you know, it was really fully hardened up. And then I also had one that was an Alumilite blank that I pulled in a couple hours and then poured the second layer. That one actually, there is a little witness line, but it's really hard to see. Now, the other issue with that one, though, it's not a really good apples to apples test because that was the one with a bolt in it, and I don't know if there's enough contrast. So let's switch views. We'll show you. This is the one that I turned, and you can't see the witness line because I've actually scuffed it up. And one of the tests that we're going to do today is actually recast this and add resin all the way around it and see if that will get rid of the mark. I did try putting CA glue on it. That did not do anything. So we'll have to see. This is the one with Alumilite, and there is a very, very tiny line. I got to be honest, I actually have to look over here. So it's right here. There is a very minute line that you can barely see in this blank, but I'd still like to try and get rid of it. So this one turned out pretty good, but the problem is that bolt is pretty shiny, not like, a dye, where there's a pretty good contrast in there, and it just, these lines, witness lines will kind of pop out a little easier. This is another one that I turned, and I swear this one actually, it was still gel. This is a liquid diamonds. You can see there's bubbles in it. You can see that line right there. But again, the dye is pretty good contrast, and so it kind of sticks out a little bit more. I don't know if maybe the Alumilite one just doesn't, because the bolt is kind of shiny, it just doesn't really show up that much. I don't know. So we got a couple that I've turned. What I want to do today, like I said, I want to try popping this back into a mold. We're going to stick it upside down, drop it down in the mold like that, pour resin around it, and return this. And the hope is to not turn into the existing, the pre-existing resin. If maybe you fully encapsulate it with something else, maybe it'll go away. So that's what we're going to do for a casting today. And then we're going to turn this one. This was made with Alumilite slow set, Alumilite clear slow set, and I pulled it out of the pressure pot in 30 minutes. Typically, Alumilite clear slow set, you want to, like the demold time is 2 to 4 hours. And so I've done a few tests. I did one, pulled it like within an hour. This one is 30 minutes, and I want to just see if that changed anything. And there's a dye in there this time, so it should be good contrast, a good test. So we'll do a little turning, we'll do a little bit of resin casting, and we'll continue our journey. Now, one other thing that I want to mention, like I said, CA glue, like putting a finish around it, that didn't do anything. So if you have a witness line and you're trying to get rid of it, I don't know if there's any way to, you know, get back from that yet. We'll try the resin thing, recasting it completely to see if that'll do anything. My hopes aren't very high on that really. I would think that if you put CA glue on it, that should, you know, do it. So we'll see, we'll have to see, and there'll be more testing. Now the other thing is, I don't like using polyester resin ever, pretty much. But this is maybe one case where that might be the resin of choice. Like you may have to use polyester resin because it tends to stick better to itself and that witness line might go away. The only other thing that I thought of is maybe, the one thing that I haven't done on any of these tests is actually scuff the top surface of that first layer. I've never done that. So that might also be something that might be worth investigating to see if it'll just maybe, you know, visibly, it does enough to obscure that line where it just doesn't pop out or something like that. So I don't know, more testing to go. It's just one of those things where this is a tough one because frankly, I don't really want to make blanks like this much, but I am doing, you know, a blank like this, a few of them for a customer, and I want to figure it out for that order. But in general, I don't really want to make a lot of these, so you know, it'd kind of be easy to throw my hands up and say I don't know how to get rid of this, or you know, you'll just have to deal with a witness line. But I don't like that. This is something that I think that there should be an answer if you do it right, and so I'm kind of, it's like one of those things that I'm like, come on, resin, you can just work with me. So I'm going to continue working on this. You know, eventually I may have to throw in the towel if I get no answers anyway. But we got a few more things to try out that I want to, you know, we haven't exhausted everything that is in the tank or in my mind that we can try out yet. So, Chad, what's up, man? Mancrafting, how's it going? Philip's here, Anna, Ray, Shauna, man, everybody's looking good in the chat. How's it going, guys? Yeah, I know. Yeah, so Maker Central is coming up. So Anna's going to be there, and Chad. Who else is going to be there? Let's see. Ken, you're not going to Maker Central, are you, Ken? No, I don't plan to do SWAT at this point. My travel budget is shot for this year, so I don't have any plans. If there's like if Easywood Tools says, hey, you know, we'll pay for your trip out, or some other company, if they want me to do demos or something like that, then I may come. But at this point, I don't have any plans to come to SWAT, which I'm kind of bummed about because that one's awesome. That is one of the best turning symposiums. I would say that one probably is the best in the country. It's really good. But like I said, this year, Maker Central was the focus, and our travel budget is just done after that trip. So let's see here. Okay, I didn't think you were going, Ken. But yeah, Lou, yes, nice. What's a budget? Anna Maria, you're from Switzerland. Nice. That's where we're going to be heading after the Maker Central. We're going to Switzerland. We're going to go to Geneva, and we're going to go to Zermatt and check out the Matterhorn. That's my favorite iconic thing, and hopefully maybe even actually get to go snowboarding in the Alps. We'll have to see how the conditions are and all that, but it should be cool. So we're looking forward to checking out Switzerland. I've been to England before, but nowhere else in Europe. And so we figured it was a tough choice. Europe is such a great, you know, there's so many great countries, cities, all that stuff, and I kind of said, let's go to Switzerland. I like cheese and I like chocolate and mountains. So we're going there. That's why his travel budget's shot, because I don't know what they are. All right, so let me make sure. Let's look at the casting. Oh, that camera's not working. Hello. What happened to my camera? Ooh. Resin all over the thing. Hold on a minute, guys. Something funny is going on. Let me... Nope, that's not it. This one. Let me restart this. It should work. Properties. What's going on? All right, so hold on real quick, guys. I gotta figure out what's happening here. Hold on a minute. We're going back to this one. And I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on. No. I'm missing, oh, there it is. Deactivate and activate. Hopefully that did it. Oh, it doesn't look like it did it. Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. Technical difficulties everywhere. Must be something else going on. That's odd. All right, it looks like we're going to have to improvise on the camera. Luckily, I got backup cameras. Wonder what's going on with this guy. Technical difficulties. All right, so don't look at this camera. I'm going to move it down so we can get a casting view. It's a good thing I had extras. There we go. So again, the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to recast. This is the one that I turned last time, and it had a pretty big witness line right in the middle of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a piece of HDPE here. In fact, I'm actually going to go get a smaller square of it. We're going to hot glue that thing down, and we're just going to recast it with, let's see, this one was liquid diamonds. I don't know if it really makes any difference which resin you cast around it, but let's just keep things like, I'm almost out of liquid diamonds here, but I got enough to recast it. So this is a 2-inch mold. Let me get my hot glue gun out. We're going to hot glue this mold down. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and hit it with some Stoner mold release spray. I'm just going to kind of coat it real good. Is this the one that I want? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of put this camera up, sort of. Switch to the other camera here real quick so you can kind of see me spraying this. You want to coat it pretty good. Epoxies tend to kind of stick to, PVC pipe a little bit more, so I'm going to coat it. You can use, I find that the urethane mold release that I use for Alumilite works fine with liquid diamonds. So, and I kind of prefer this one over the thermoset, which is what people would typically use with epoxy. But that stuff is kind of greasy and smells funny, and I just don't really like it. So I get perfectly fine results using the urethane one. So that's what I use on it. I don't know. That works with liquid diamonds. That may not work with every epoxy. I don't know. I haven't tried it with anything else, but seems to do okay with liquid diamonds. We got our hot glue gun going here. So I'm going to put this down. I'm going to make sure that usually hot glue over on the other desk, but I'm going to just do all this stuff right here. I'm just going to kind of hold this in place. A lot of times I'll put like 3 layers of glue on, and I've been testing things out, and I find if you just coat it, if you put a really big bead on these things, it generally works, good enough. It's fine. So I just put a really thick bead on it one time, and I'm finding it's a lot faster to do it that way. And I think I'm using a little bit less glue doing it this way too. Seems like the sticks tend to go a little bit farther. But, the thing is, hot glue is really cheap, and you really don't want this thing to leak. So, it's not a bad idea to put a few coats of this stuff around the bottom, because you don't want your resin leaking out. That's terrible and expensive. Okay, so we got our hot glue going. I would say if you're doing especially larger, like 6-inch pipes, 4-inch pipes, something like that, and you got like 600, 1,000 grams more, like that's a case where you want to put like 3 beads of glue around this thing and no questions. Now, if I lose 100 grams or whatever, you know, it's not a big deal to me. I don't think it's going to happen anyway, but the other thing you got to think about is if there's a ton of resin in there, there's more pressure, I would imagine. There's more force possibly kind of pushing out. So it's not a bad idea to really give it a good amount if you're doing a big blank. You're supposed to be editing? That's funny. See if I missed anything. No, the lens cap's not on. I don't know what's going on with that camera. It's really weird. It's something with one of the cables somewhere, I'd imagine. All right, so let's kind of move this over here. We're gonna get our resin ready. I honestly have no clue. Oh, you know, the one thing that I forgot to do is to hot glue this thing down. So let's go get our hot glue gun. Usually I would put this down first. Luckily I can get in there. It's not going to be a big problem. I'll just put a bead on the bottom there, and I think I'm actually going to kind of scuff this up. It's still kind of polished on the top there. So let me plug in my glue gun, and then I'm just going to kind of take a little bit of sandpaper, scuff it up, make sure it's nice and clean. One other thing that I'm going to do is hit this with a little denatured alcohol. Let me scuff the top real quick. I'm just going to use a little bit of like a 120 grit, something like that. 180. I don't have any ready to go. There's a little bit of 180. That'll do fine. Just want to make sure that glue holds it down. And I'm just going to kind of clean this thing off because I buffed this, and it had some stuff on it that I want to make sure that there's no trace of that. And the denatured alcohol will hopefully just kind of get rid of any surface contaminants that are on this thing. I want to make sure that I'm going to actually go blow this off after this. I want to make sure that the denatured alcohol is totally gone before we cast it, but try to take every precaution possible. All right, so that should be pretty good. I'm gonna just put like I said, a little dot of glue on this thing. And then I'm gonna just shove it down into my mold here. Try and center it as good as I can. There we go, that's looking pretty good, I think. Not looking bad anyway. The other thing that I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to cover, because I already, tapped the hole on the top of that thing. I don't plan to really pour resin necessarily that high on this thing. However, I think I am just going to cover that hole just in case I don't want drips going in there. So let me do that real quick. I just got some packing tape here. I'm just going to kind of cut it so it'll kind of fit on there pretty well. There we go. Now I don't have to worry about that. Get rid of our glue gun. Okay, so I don't know how much resin that's going to take. Let's just mix up. Totally guesstimating. We can always pour more if we have to. It's not going to be a problem. So liquid diamonds is a 2-to-1 ratio. So let's do. Let's try 150 grams total and just see how far that goes. So 100 grams of the part A. Oh, and I forgot my iPad again. Jeez. Sneaking up on it. Man, it's starting to warm up already. It's amazing. It just it feels like it was just like overnight. Like yesterday, it was like 60-degree high. Now it's like 80. And I'm not really looking forward to it because the shop's already getting warmer and ugh. I like summer. I like summer as long as I'm sitting on a beach or at a pool. I know it's not summer yet, but you know what I mean. Let's see here. You guys are just talking video editing. I use Final Cut for my editing. I learned, like, took a course, like one of those online things. Kind of learned how to use that, and at this point, I think I kind of wish I would have just gone with the Adobe one, just because you can use it on Windows or anywhere you want. But Final Cut works pretty good. I'm not that good with it though. I kind of know what I need to know, and outside of that, like, I don't know what's going on with that program. It's got quite a bit of power with that thing, but power only comes if you actually know how to use it. $49.6. I usually use a little tiny cup, but I'm going to try and just drip this out of the big cup thing, big jug. Yeah, it just doesn't, it's not really working for me, so I'm just going to use a little cup here, pour a little bit in there, pour most of that actually back, and then it's much easier to just kind of drip it out of a smaller cup. That would be good. Okay, got our resin mixed up. Or measured, I should say, not mixed. It's always so quiet during the streams. It's odd. I usually have the music kind of blasting in here, so it's always kind of like, man, it's quiet. Hey, what's up, Jen? Actually, we can put your sticker up during the live stream too. I'll have to find a good spot on one of the pressure pots. And I need to get your sticker, my sticker for you, out. I'm terrible with that. Really horrible. So what I've decided for my mixing of liquid diamonds, and I would say a lot of epoxies, is I've started to just mix it for 3 minutes straight. So I look at the clock, it's 3:34, and I'm just going to mix until it's 3:37. And I think that that's a good way to ensure that... I was talking to Chad Schimmel about it, and he kind of does the same thing. I don't know if he said 2 or 3 minutes or whatever, but I just, one of the biggest problems people have, issues with resin casting, is just improper measuring or mixing. One of the two of those. And so, if you got 45 minutes of working time, you got 3 minutes to spare to mix it. And so I think that, and I've never had a problem, as long as I've done it that way. I haven't really had any problems with this anyway, but that's just my little rule of thumb. So we got a little bit of ways to go here. I didn't send you one, Doug? Man. Keep your glue gun on standby, yeah. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty sure that that's going to be fine. You're right. That is true, though. That's not a bad thing. I've kind of found that if it starts leaking out, though, you kind of have some problems. If it's just a small leak, you're good, but sometimes it doesn't really work to... If you messed up the first time, it doesn't work so well trying to dump glue on top. You're supposed to get snow? Man, yeah, I wouldn't mind some cooler time. I'm not ready for warm yet. Although it is kind of nice to wear shorts and stuff. Like, I like the warm. The problem I have is I don't want to work in my shop in warm temperatures. Like, it's only 71 in here, and it's like I'm hot. Like if you're moving around and doing stuff, like that's enough to, there's a little sweat going, Much nicer when it's like 67, 68. And then the other problem is our apartment is it just, we have these two huge windows, and it's great because there's a great view, but it is just ridiculously hot. And it's not even that hot outside, but our apartment just heats up, so it's kind of miserable. It reminds me of when we lived in Vegas. I mean, you know, when it got hot there, you lived in air conditioning, and we actually have to do the same thing. And it's not even that hot. It's just the giant windows just kill any kind of and we're on the we're above a garage, so there's no insulation anywhere. There's nothing like insulating us that's cool below us. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like hot temperatures anymore where we live currently. I'm gonna need to move to like Norway or something. Summers are probably really nice in Norway. All right, 3:37. So mixing it for about 3 minutes. So we're gonna get in here with the little camera and get some, try and light it up a little bit. That's not a very good view. There you go. You can kind of see in there. Hopefully this is enough. So I just want to kind of pour it up to not all the way, but just a little bit below the top of this thing. And I've put a little piece of tape over our threads, but I'm just going to kind of pour it down the side anyway, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. And I'm actually just going to pressurize this because why not? Just ensure there's no bubbles. It's not like we have to wait for anything. Keep pouring just a little bit more, but like I said, I don't need to make this thing go all the way to the top. All right, I'm going to call that good. A little bit more resin than I needed, but that's okay. And I'll put the camera up here. We'll pop it in this guy, and we'll pressurize it, and we'll have to come back and see if, what I'm hoping is, so if you're kind of just joining us, what we're trying to do is get rid of witness lines in clear cast blanks that you did multiple pours. I'm finding that I'm getting some, and this is a test to see if you can get rid of it in a blank that already has it. And so what we're doing is pouring resin around the blank that had that witness line in the hopes that if you return it and don't cut down into that original blank, that it'll hide that witness line. Because I didn't really notice any witness lines in any of these blanks. Like there's nothing visible until you turn into it. Like I'm not seeing any lines in this mold, in this blank. What ends up happening, for some reason, when you cut into it, then this witness line kind of pops out at you. And I don't like that. And it's that line between the two pores. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I would like to try and figure out a way to get rid of it. So I'm hoping that if maybe resin cast all the way around it, it'll somehow disappear. I don't know if that's going to happen or not yet, but you know. So I'm going to move this camera. We're done casting for now. There we go. Lock that off. So liquid diamond is going to need to stay in the pressure pot for about 9 hours, something like that. So that one's going to be an overnighter. Let's see here. Hey, Pam's here. What's up? How's it going? Let's see here. So I'm going to get one of Pam's stickers when I'm at Maker Central, and I'm going to be bringing some there too. So I'm going to move the other camera over to the lathe. The other thing that we're going to do today is some more testing. We're going to turn another one of the blanks that I made, and I've made quite a few test blanks at this point. The one we're going to turn today, though, what I found was the Alumilite blank. So we made one that had a bolt in it. And there is a witness line if you really look closely, but it's not that apparent. And this one was just a kind of regular, I pulled it out of the pressure pot, poured the first layer, pulled it out of the pressure pot after about 2 hours, poured the second layer. And this one's a lot better. Now, the one question I have though is, this is a silver bolt. compared to, you know, like dice, which, you know, the contrast from this solid colored dice is a little different than the bolt. But just looking at this, it just doesn't seem like, even on the clear sides, it's just not as apparent in the Alumilite blank. So what I'm hoping, the first test we're going to do is I did one Alumilite clear slow set, and I actually pulled this out of the pressure pot to do the second pour in 30 minutes, which is actually kind of, that's very early. Usually Alumilite clear slow set is a 2-hour demold time. So I want to see how this one does. I think this is going to be our best shot to, you know, just do a normal pour where it actually hardens up, and then you go and pour the second layer on, and then, you know, you got your blank. If there's no witness line in this, then that'll tell me that, you know, you should be pretty good if you just are really on top of getting it out of the pressure pot using Alumilite clear. Get it out of the pressure pot as soon as possible, like the earliest point, you know, that you can, and then pour that second layer. So we're going to turn this up and see how it turned out, and it should be kind of fun. Hey, Jake's here too. Man, we got everybody showing up to the live stream today. So let's see here. What are you up to, man? Jake just put a video up, how to make pen blanks. So these are really easy to get out of these molds. Just kind of cut it a little bit, and it doesn't stick at all. These are like little 2-ounce Dixie cup things. So that's pretty sweet. And I was starting to run out of actual dice, but I had a dice little silicone mold from Alamold. So I've made a few. I've made some with like leftover resin. So this is a turquoise die. Now the only bad thing is I don't really care about this because it's not like it matters that much. I'm more interested in seeing that if that witness line shows up or not. But I left a blob of glue, the hot glue on the top, so it's kind of ugly. But that's not really what's important here. So, oh, there's the camera over at the lathe. Not pointing at anything here. And now we are good. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up our easy chuck. It's so easy. And it really is easy to use. I really like this chuck. It's my favorite chuck that I've used so far. The nice thing is these little 2-ounce cup molds, they have a perfect little lip to grab on the back. It's even got like a little dovetail and it fits the standard jaws on the Easy Chuck perfectly. So what I can do here is load it up, and it's going to be spinning pretty true. And then just kind of clean up the face of this thing, just make sure it's flat and kind of running true, and then I'm going to flip it, and then we'll drill in the bottom of it. So it's just kind of a handy thing to do. Frankly, I could probably just leave it in, since all I'm really worried about is, you know, seeing if there's a line in this or not. I could probably just leave this in here, turn it, and then be fine. But we may as well just go through the steps of doing like a bottle stopper. So we got that loaded up. I'm going to turn the fan on, so hopefully it's not too loud or anything like that. I don't have my iPad over here, and I don't even have my iPad holder, so I don't know if there's any real point in getting the iPad right now anyway. Well, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to go get the iPad, even though I don't have a holder for it, and I'm just going to stop, and that way I don't have to walk all the way over to the, you know, the 10 feet all the way to the computer. I can just kind of take a peek at the iPad instead. I'm not lazy at all. No, mainly it's just an efficiency. I don't want to waste everybody's time while I'm walking back and forth to the computer, you know? We got testing to do. We don't have time for computers and walking. All right, YouTube. So I don't really believe in lathe dust collection. I just turn a fan on. Seems easier. Let's see here. My channel. Here we go. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, did I not? What's going on here? No thanks. This is not the right thing. Did I not do the right? Oh. Oops. This isn't supposed to be a replay. I screwed the title up, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. So here we are. Let me turn the volume off. So I got my iPad over here. So I'll kind of try and stop and take a peek and see what you guys are talking about every once in a while here. Let's get our larger thing out. See where we're at here. I'm going to go for the middle. So all I'm doing is just trying to kind of flatten this front face so that I can flip it and it'll sit nicely in the jaws and we'll be good to go. It's actually running pretty decent already. I want to get rid of, there's a little lip on the end there. So we're just going to try and kind of flatten this out so we can grab it in the chuck. And then we're going to drill out and tap it, and so it'll be ready to go for the bottle stopper. Okay, so that's looking nice, huh? Oh, did I? That's not nice. I got to do a little bit more work here, guys. There's kind of a hump in the middle. Got to do a little bit more work here. Okay, now it's flat. We're good. It was wobbling. Now this isn't the best way to do things to widen these jaws so far, but all we're doing is drilling, so all I need to do is have these things just kind of hold it, sort of. It's not that big of a deal. But typically you want the jaws to be as closed as possible. But the problem is the next size up is a little bit too big, so it's fine. All we're doing is drilling. And what am I doing here? Drill, chuck. And I think you use a 5/16 drill bit for these. Stainless bottle stoppers actually has, if you get the, I use their little mandrel, which I really love this thing. It's got little bushings that fit the different kits and things perfectly, but they also sell with, I think it comes with that, you get a little stubby drill bit that's the perfect size. And then I just use a 3/8/16 tap to tap threads in. You can also, Stainless also sells the brass inserts, and in some cases those are better to go with, but if you can just tap threads in resin, it'll work fine. I find that to work pretty good. So, and I got a little, I can't see it though. I got a little mark on my drill. Tells me how far I need to drill this. Since this drill bit is for bottle stopper tapping, I know exactly how far because I got a mark on there. How far to drill in. Now, one thing I could have done is flatten this bottom also, but we're just going kind of quick on these, and I'm not that worried about this piece necessarily. It's not really it's kind of a test. We can worry about the details later. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this thing doesn't have a witness line. If this doesn't have a witness line, we are golden. Man, I really need to Really need to get some wax on the bed of my lathe here. Still kind of having issues with like rust. I don't know what it is. Rust or it might be acid. It's not as bad, and it seems to have slowed down because we got rid of that acid out of our shop, I think. But man, it's been horrible this year dealing with this stuff. I live in a dry climate. I really shouldn't have to worry about rust. You know? So what's everybody working on this weekend? Anybody got any cool plans? Any blanks you're thinking about casting? Any turning projects or DIY projects even? Anything going on in the workshop? Adding a little bit of, or reducing the friction will make this easier to tap. It's a little easier on a smaller lathe, but this tailstock on the larger lathes are a little bit heavier, and it just makes it easier if the thing's not got a lot of friction going on. You don't want that friction. Friction's bad, okay? Let's see, what's everybody doing here? Another box, let's see, what'd you say? Finishing the river table. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. It's looking awesome. Taking a tree off a shed. Ugh, that's no fun. Resin foot. Oh, I thought it said resin football. I was like, whoa, that's cool. That's cool. The root balls are sweet. Galaxy skull in a sphere shift knob. Whoa, that's sweet. Camphor Godzilla ball. You guys are getting crazy. Everybody's doing some really cool stuff. Pen order. Another box and loads of pen blanks. Nice. Black locust. Nice. Yeah, I hope you find some shop time. Harry Potter thing. Nice. Shave brush. Test some resin. Ooh, the root ball has stones in it. Oh, watch out for those tools. We'll get you. Okay, so let's get these threads tapped. See what's going on here. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, guys. I'm really hoping that this turns out good. I think that I am going to just try polyester resin anyway sometime. I was talking to Chad about this, Chad Schimmel. He's got a lot more experience with polyester resin. And he was kind of like, yeah, I think that it'll probably work better for doing multiple pours without getting a witness line. So as much as I hate the stuff, you know, in this case, it might just be the way to go, you know, if you're doing this specific type of thing. But like I said, I'd rather exhaust all the possibilities with these other resins first. Make sure that there's not something that I'm missing. Now, the one thing about it is if you can get that second pour done while the first layer is still really in a gel state, like it's still pretty much liquid, then it's gonna all kind of cure together. So, you know, but the problem, like I said, is, you know, if you're doing something that kind of weighs a little bit, then you're kind of hosed because there's no way to really just set it in there without it sinking. And for my purposes, what I'm going to be doing is, and I don't exactly know how heavy these things are, but they're like the T-scale model train type things, train cars. And I have a feeling that they're not, you know, feather light. For flowers and things like that, like it's not that hard to just kind of lay it down there when it's sort of skinned over and you can pour more on top. But for things that are heavier, you're kind of at the mercy of of your, you gotta let that resin skin over so it'll hold it in place. All right, so now we're ready. This isn't gonna take that long to get it. We don't need to turn the whole thing. I'm not gonna put a bunch of, I'm not worried about how this really looks or finishing it per se. I just need to get, where that second pour was, somewhere in the middle, which again, I want to mention, like in this blank, there is no witness line. There is absolutely no, there's nothing showing a division of those two different pours in the blank. And so this only is a problem, I think, for turning blanks. Like if you're going to shape the thing that you've cast with tools and whatever, that's where the problem lies for some reason. If all you're doing is casting something in place, like let's say that you were making, I don't know, like let's just say that you have a silicone mold of a sphere. If you just did this in place and when you took it out of the mold, that is the finished piece, I don't think you'd actually have any problems. It's the turning thing that's where the issues lie. So it's really frustrating, I gotta be honest. This is why I'm still messing with this, because usually I'm the type of person that's like, I got better things to do. I'll let someone else figure this out, but it just seems like it shouldn't really be that hard, guys, right? Am I the only one that's thinking that? Probably like a stupid way to get this to work fine, is what I'm thinking. That's how a lot of things are with resin casting. So I don't know. Anyway, cut some bowl blanks. Spalted white oak. Nice. That's cool. I haven't seen spalted white oak, I don't think. Well, thanks, Rex. If you're talking, I think you're talking to me. I don't know. I might have missed something in the chat, but I'm glad that they're helpful. There's a question. How do I like my lathe versus the Galaxy? I like this a lot better than the Galaxy. The Galaxy wasn't a bad lathe in general, but I mean the fit and finish of the Laguna Revo, and I would say that the 1836, I mean it's a highly comparable. Those are apples to apples. This one's a little bit better. It's got a bigger motor and a couple things, but even the 1836 compared to the Galaxy it's a much nicer lathe. Just fit and finish, everything about it is nicer. The only thing that the Galaxy has is the DVR motor. That's the only advantage, and all of everything that's good is in that headstock. The rest of the machine was kind of, it was okay. The castings were kind of junky, just overall fit and finish of the Galaxy. And a lot of the Nova lathes are kind of like this. They're just kind of, they're okay. So I'm a lot happier with this Laguna, and I just decided I wanted a lathe. I kind of want this to be the last lathe that I buy. So I bought the 2436, even though I don't really do a lot of gigantic things. Someday maybe I will though. So I just decided to get the biggest one and not have to upgrade down the road if I do decide that my life's work needs to be gigantic bowls or something, All right, so I got my tool rest to the right height. I'm going to start this up slow, and then I'm going to bring my tailstock in. I just find that, oh, I lost my, that's not how you do it. I guess I didn't seat my center here. There we go. Lock it in and just bring it up, and it just seems to grab on better that way. Lock it down. Let's get the camera somewhere. Let's try to get this in a good spot for you guys. So mainly what I found is you just need to cut into this a little bit. So we're just gonna, cut down in. And then we're just going to basically, polish it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of shaping bottle stopper style. But I just want to cut into this blank a little bit so that I can kind of see, are we going to get that witness line? It doesn't take much. The last one I turned, I actually turned one right before the stream, was It's another Liquid Diamonds blank. It looks better, but it was this one. And so you don't really need to do a lot of shaping. You just need to cut into it so that you can kind of see. So let's cut into this thing a little bit. We'll see what happens. And again, I think that this is going to be our best shot. I pulled this. This is a Lumalite Clear Slow Set. Pulled it in 30 minutes out of the pressure pot. It was nice and it was all solid. We got no bubbles or anything. So it was actually enough time in the pressure pot, but that's pretty quick. And then I poured my second layer. So I think out of all of them, this is probably going to be our best shot. And I've let this fully cure for, you know, more than enough time. It's been more than 5 days. So this is our best shot at hopefully seeing what ends up happening. If there's a witness line that's obvious in this one, then man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you at that point then. I'm just going to take this thing down a little bit. Kind of shape it similar to how I would for a typical bottle stopper. Well, I don't know if this is how I shape a typical bottle stopper, but in the general bottle stopper style. Now, where the line should be, it's probably like up in here, up in this area. So I'm just going to kind of cut in a little bit more here. I think we're looking pretty good. I'm just going to try and kind of clean up tool marks a little bit, make sanding go a little bit faster. I think I just added some tool marks. I was rushing it. Okay. And now we're just going to sand it up and polish it. And I mean, pretty much once we get it all polished up, if there's witness lines, we'll see them. Hoping there aren't though. So what do you guys think? Is there a poll thing? Is there a way to do polls or something? It'd be cool to see what you guys think. Do you think there's going to be a line? Can we do a poll? There's got to be a way to do a poll. Is there? Optional features. No, I don't see anything. Well, I guess you'll just have to put it in there. There's got to be some way of doing that, but you guys can just say what you think. Think there'll be a line or not? So we're gonna get us a new piece of sandpaper here. Brand new. We're gonna start. I think we can start around 240. Make sure we get it nice and flat. We've slowed the speeds down here. So again, this is Alumilite Clear Slow Set resin. And I didn't do a very good job at all of taking those lines out. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna come back with the tool because I did a terrible job. Nice thing is, if you hit it with some sandpaper, you can see where you got more work to do. The main thing is we need it nice and clear right there. So even if I have a few scratches or whatever down here, up in, whatever. This is testing. We're doing testing. This is scientific. Sort of. Maybe not scientific, but I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. So we went on a hike yesterday. So Thursday's our day off. We went up to Reno. We had a bunch of errands to do, things to get for the trips and all that kind of stuff. And we, on the way, we did a little bit of a hike on the way up to Reno. And it was a great day up there. Nice little moderate hike, Not too shabby. Got a little bit of nature, got a little bit of exercise. Then we had to do a bunch of shopping in a busy city. So there's really not, I don't think that I need to necessarily do the, finish the top off and all that stuff. You can see those lines from the side. That's where I've been noticing them on other blanks. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of time into sanding the sides of these things, get them nice and polished up, and like I said, if there's a witness line, it's not going to be hard to pick out if it's there. But hopefully it's not there, and we can rejoice and have a party. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of opposite direction sanding here. Don't let me forget, we got to put Jen's sticker up before I sign off tonight. We'll find a good spot on one of the pressure pots. All right, so I think that's good with the 240. Get us a piece of 400 here. me bring my iPad over here and I can kind of see some stuff. Whoa! I'm way behind there. How's it going, Lane? I think that's Lane. Let's see. Yeah, Lane. Welcome to the stream all the way from the UK. Thanks for joining us. You see no line? 30 minutes, no line. How's it going, Jordan? We're just doing more testing with these suspended objects. Trying to get some blanks. Trying to figure out the key to multiple pours with clear resin and no witness line. We're trying it again. So far, I haven't succeeded. I got to be honest. The bolt with just the regular, with just Alumilite that I poured the second one after 2 hours. I got to be honest. That blank's good enough. Like I'd be happy with that. I honestly did not even see the line. Like the day that I turned it, I'm looking at it and I inspected it pretty heavily. Didn't even see a line that day. And I came back the next day and I was looking more and it's barely there. Barely there. So that one's pretty good. So I got high hopes. You know, we pulled this after only 30 minutes in the pressure pot. So I got high hopes that this will work out. If not, I don't know. We got a couple other things that we're gonna test out. Got a couple other thoughts in my head that I'm hoping that we don't have to worry about the other plan Bs. C, D, E, F. Hopefully we'll be good to go with just some Alumilite. I'm actually kind of surprised. I really thought that liquid diamonds like epoxy would work better for this. But so far, and I haven't done a lot of tests yet, but so far the Alumilite turned out better, which is weird. All right, what am I doing? Time to wet sand. I'm gonna turn the fan off. You don't need the fan for wet sanding. And if you want to knock the dust down, you can wet sand the whole way through, and realistically it's probably better to wet sand the whole time. But I don't know. I'm used to doing it dry with up until I get to these polishing papers, so that's just kind of the way I do it. But you're guaranteed to keep the blank cool if you use water the whole way through. So just a little side note. And it keeps the dust down. So now we're doing 750 grit here with the Zona polishing papers. And for anybody that doesn't know, Turner's Warehouse is now selling this stuff. They picked it up, so good place to pick it up. You can get it on Amazon as well. But yeah, Turner's Warehouse has got it. So if you're ordering pen kits and supplies, you can also grab yourself some of this Zona paper now. Man, Chad's been adding lots of stuff to the lineup. Lots and lots. And one thing that I'm waiting for that I'm pretty sure he's working on adding is the nickel-plated tubes. You know, a lot of times for like cigar kits and juniors. A lot of times I just use the nickel-plated ones. That way you don't have to paint the tubes or anything like that. And I use his powder-coated tubes sometimes, but the nickel-plated ones work pretty good for certain things. Like I really like using those on my nebula blanks. They add a little bit more reflectivity, I think, to some blanks, and so you get a little bit more light movement through the blank. but it also is not like a blaring, brass tube on a pen blank or on a pen kit showing through. So it's kind of cool. So I hope he gets those in soon. Hey, what's up, Tom? Oh man, you used polyester resin and got a line too? Dang, that was actually gonna be like if nothing else works, I might have to try polyester resin. I don't know, man. This is just odd. I guess the thing is, like, I've seen a bunch of people do multiple pore, clear type or transparent things. But like I said, if you turn it, you can see a witness line. But in the blank itself, like, if you just demold the blank out of the mold, I don't even need to demold it. There's no witness line in this blank. Like, I can't see, there's no line anywhere. I know that there's some lines on the cup here. Let's get on camera. But I mean, you would notice it. Like, there's no lines if you don't touch it. So as long as it's like, you cast it and when it comes out of the mold, that's it. You don't have to worry about it. So for the people that do that type of casting, like, I just, I've seen other people do it like that. I haven't really seen too many people do multiple pores for turning blanks like this. And so I don't know. It'd be really disappointing if, like, in the end we're like, well, if you're going to turn a blank that's multiple pores like this, you're going to have a witness line. That just would suck. I don't know. Yeah, you could just do 2 colors or something. But I mean, the thing is though, you're going for, if you're going for clear, that's what I want to figure. It just makes me kind of, it's aggravating. So hopefully we'll see. We're not done. We still got tests going on here. We still got hope. And like I said, for people that weren't here earlier, I did one Alumilite blank, just normal, which what I mean by normal is this one that we're turning right now, I pulled it after 30 minutes. It's slow set clear, which usually you're going to leave it in the pressure pot for a couple hours. And I pulled it pretty quick, 30 minutes. So this is our kind of best hope, but I just did a normal blank. I did an Alumilite blank normally, left it in for 2 hours, and the witness line is like, I mean, I didn't even notice it at first. I don't even know if it'll show up on camera, really. The one question I had, though, is this blank is a silver bolt, and it's just not that much of a, compared to like colorful dice, it's not as much of a contrast. But I mean, it's right here. Oh, I'm not on camera. It's like right in this area. And it's so minute, like you can barely see it. So I'm hoping that this 30-minute blank that we pulled after 30 minutes, like it's pretty much non-existent. That's the hope here. That's what we're testing out today. And the other thing that we did, since you came in a little bit later, the first thing that we did also was we had a blank that I turned last week, and it had an absolute, blaring witness line. And what I tried for that is I recast that blank. So I scuffed it up with 80 grit on the outside, and then we put it in a 2-inch PVC pipe, upside down, and then we just poured a full thing of resin around it. And what I'm looking for, the reason I'm trying that is, like I said, in the blank itself, if you haven't cut into it, there's no witness line. So I'm wondering if you recast resin around a blank that has a witness line, and you don't, turn into the original one, you leave some meat on the outside, does that witness line, will it go away? Will it fix a blank, basically, that has a witness line? So that was the first test, and it was no big deal. We'll just cast it real quick, but we'll have to kind of see what the results are for that. That would be interesting. That would be super fabulous. Like, so for, people that have already made blanks and they're like, oh yeah, I got a witness line. Maybe there's a way out. Maybe there's a way of redeeming that blank and fixing it. Because the biggest problem with suspending objects, especially like, let's say you got kind of a one-of-a-kind thing, like, man, you know, you really don't want to screw that up or be like, oh, there's a giant witness line in it now. So if there's a way to redeem yourself, that would be really fabulous, wouldn't it? That's what I'm hoping for. Multiple 1/4 inch layers. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to do here is pour a bunch of layers. But the thing is, if the thing that you're suspending weighs quite a bit, then, you know, you got to kind of let the resin harden up. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I don't know. I think I maybe can see a line. I'm not sure yet though. There's a lot of things that I can see in there, so I don't know. We'll have to kind of see here. The suspense is killing me. All right, so we'll dry this guy off. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know if I think it was just a reflection of the tripod legs. So the next step, we're going to go over to the buffing wheel. So once this dries out, it's going to kind of, you know, cloud up a little bit. So the next thing we got to do is hit it with the buffing wheels, and then we will know. Does it work? Does it not work? You know what the worst thing is when you're doing things like this, like a test? You know, I mean, it's been like, we did 3 live streams talking about this stuff at this point. Like, and it's going to go on, you know, I got another good week. I got a few other things that I want to test. Like, it could be a month before I'm like, I know the answer to this question. And if after a month of messing around with this stuff, like the answer is there's really no way to avoid it. Like, oh, it's going to be really aggravating. Really aggravating. But sometimes that happens, you know. I actually just had another thing. I was trying to make blanks that had glow powder in them, and as well as you know, just regular resin, but like a color swirl type thing. And try as I might, I was trying to get them to swirl, and no matter how long I waited, the glow powder, because you got to kind of load it up in pen blanks, or well, anything, you got to put quite a bit of that glow powder, and it's super heavy. Nothing I did, it would all separate. It was, I tried pouring it vertically in PVC pipes, it all just went to the bottom. I tried pouring it, you know, horizontally, waiting forever. It was like glue almost when I was pouring it. The stuff still just sunk to the bottom, the glow powder, and I'm like, this isn't even, it's not possible with any way that I know to do it. And so after a bunch of testing, I got a bunch of like 50, you know, half and half blanks out of it, and no way to do it, you know. And sometimes that's just how it works. I need to put my face mask on. That's why I'm messing around. Got to get my face mask. You don't want to be breathing the you know, the buffing rouge stuff, and you know, obviously it comes off into dust. But that stuff is abrasive, and you don't want that in your lungs. So make sure to protect yourself. Get my RZ mask on, get my fan on. I like to also turn a fan on just for the heck of it. And charge this guy up with the triple E. And let's see what we got, guys. Keep your fingers crossed. Bare minimum, here's one of the things that I'm going to say. Bare minimum, as long as it's as good as that other one that I made with Alumilite, then I'm good. I would consider that good enough, and only the most, you know, picky person would be like, no, I don't want that blank, or, you know, that stopper. If they even saw it, you know. So let's just kind of hope for at least what that other one was like, and maybe even better than that. 0 witness line. Success. A winner. I'm not seeing anything, guys. Like I said, it took me a while to see it in the last one though, to really get it fully glossed up and really inspect it. So, but I think that we're looking pretty good. And I gotta be honest, if Alumilite clear is the answer to this, that is gonna be highly surprising to me. I really would have figured it would be an epoxy or polyester resin would be the answer. Now let me charge up the white diamond. All right, guys, moment of truth coming up. This is like a reality TV show, like Survivor. What's gonna happen? Tune in next week. All right, I think that's good enough. Let's go get the camera over here and we will inspect it together. So I'm actually just gonna bring it over here. Where did it go? There it is. All right, guys, so I'm gonna kind of look at this above the camera, so I don't see anything down this way. Oh yeah, you can barely see it. So let's see if I can get this on camera. There is a very barely, and I mean, where did it go? I actually lost it. Oh man, it's tiny. Like you can barely see it, but there is a little bit of a witness line, but I'd even say it's better than that other Alumilite one. So let's try and get this camera situated. Now let me see where did I see that? Okay, it's right here. Right in that area. So I don't know if you guys can even see it. Like it's really difficult to see, but there is one if you hit it the right, get the right angle of light. But I mean, if you're just holding it away from your body, like a typical glance from people, like, you can't see it. Like you really can't. I don't know if this is showing up. Did you see it maybe there? No. I'm telling you, I really... Sorry, I was looking at it too. There is a little piece of this wasn't the best casting. There was some chunks, and I actually there's a little glue blob on the top there. You can't really see it, but so let's turn it around. Not look at that. There, you could barely see it right there. You guys see that? I mean, it is so minute though that, like, frankly, like nobody's gonna complain about that I know. So I'd say, I don't know if I can fix it, get rid of it, but I mean, that's so minute that I think that's good enough for me. What do you guys think? Yeah, I say no line. I know, it's not really, no, that last one was like absolutely horrible. That one's the one that's in the pressure pot, and I don't think I have one, because even that other Liquid Diamonds one was not nearly as bad, but that was one where the resin was still pretty much, it was still pretty much like a gel at that point. So I'm gonna bring the camera back, reposition the camera back behind the desk here, and I'll just show you the other ones, because all three of these are pretty good. Like I said, I would say that the one that we just turned today is by far the best. Like, it's really hard to see. And it's, I mean, I gotta be honest, I'm seriously blown away that Alumilite, like polyurethanes, I wouldn't peg that as being the best for this type of thing. I really wouldn't. So this is the one that first one that I turned with Alumilite. And again, I mean, it's really, really hard to see. It's right there. Oh, let's get on camera. Right there. This one's pretty tough to see also, but that was Alumilite. And again, here's the one that we turned today. I think the best view to see it is this orientation on this side. It's hard to look at this through the viewfinder, but you can just, at the right moment, you can kind of see a line, but it's not like it sticks out. And if you're just kind of looking at it from above, I mean, I can't see it, holding it a foot away from my face. So that's what we did today. That, and you know, I would say you can maybe mess around with Alumilite Clear Slow Set, but so I pulled this in about 30 minutes, and it was hard. There was no problem. There was nothing wrong with doing that. I would probably, now I'm kind of curious, because I got a few that I pulled in like an hour. And again, this is slow set, right? I'm curious. I want to test one of these because I think that I'd feel a lot safer pulling the blank with slow set clear after an hour rather than, you know, 30 minutes. So I want to test one of these. I don't have time to do that today, but I'll probably turn one of these guys up and we'll look at that. But I think an hour, if you pulled it, if it's the same result, you know, that's probably a good way to go. Now I also have one other one. This was another Liquid Diamonds that was still gel. It was definitely still gel when I poured the second layer on there. So I want to try that out and see if that will eliminate it completely. But this was another Liquid Diamonds one, but you can definitely see the line. See that? And again, you know, like those black dots, that's a high contrast thing. So I don't know if that maybe is, you know, something to think about. You know, it might be good to turn this one. This is an Alumilite. 2 hours is when I poured the second one. This might be a better comparison to the Liquid Diamonds because it's the same white and black dye. I don't know. So I am going to turn all of these just to see how they work and polish them up, see what happens with all this stuff. But I think that as far as I'm concerned, you know, we got two pretty good examples using Alumilite where it turned out pretty good. And I think that that's a good bet. So yeah, bling dice. I know I have a little one. So I got a couple with some sparkles, some glitters and things in there. That's pretty fun. And then I forgot to write any information on this one, so I have no clue what this is, but that's color shift powder. So that one's kind of a waste, but I'll probably turn it anyway and just see what happens. You know, if there's no witness line, then I'll sit and wonder, what did I do for that one? So anyway, I don't know, you know, we're still messing with this stuff. I think that I maybe will still try polyester resin. Again, I was talking to Chad Schimmel about it, and he was like, I don't know, polyester resin usually is the best for that kind of thing. You know, I've done some, and I've never seen any witness lines. So I might try it, even though I hate the stuff. I'll probably have to pour it outside because I can't stand the smell of it. But I might try that, see if that does anything different. I would say if we get a witness line after I do the test with polyester resin, I'm just going to throw my hands up and say there's no way around it. Like, you're going to get one probably, no matter what. But so far, it looks like the Alumilite resin is working the best for this. And again, the way that I did that, I poured the first layer, and what I was doing is I had it, if you missed the show, what I did was I had this little kind of contraption thing, hot glued the dye onto that. And then, you know, I had just a little cup here, and then hung the dye in place, and then poured the first layer. Let that skin up. I put it in the pressure pot with the Alumilite, put it in the pressure pot for 2 hours. The one that we turned today, I put it in for 30 minutes, opened it back up, poured that second layer after removing the hot glue from the dye. And then we got, you know, basically a 2-layer pour. And the issue is we can kind of see that division line after you turn it. And so I was trying to kind of get rid of that. And it looks like Alumilite is the best bet so far that I've tried. So I will definitely turn some more of these. I don't want to waste everybody's time and me just kind of turning quick things today, but probably over the course of next week, I'll try and get some of these things turned up and polished so I can kind of compare them. There are a bunch of different tests, waiting, different times under pressure before I poured the second one. So we'll have to see how that goes, see what happens with it. I don't know. And then maybe down the road, I'll give in and buy some polyester resin and we'll try that out and see if that works. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty happy with the way that those turned out. Like I said, it's not completely gone, but it's good enough. And then for those of you who do resin casting, but you're not actually like turning, like you're using molds where you're replicating things. In that case, I don't think you have anything to worry about. If you're not, sanding and turning and cutting into these things, there's no witness line. When you pull it out of the mold, I'm not really seeing one. So I think that you're safe if that's the type of stuff you're doing. So anyway, kind of cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see here before we got to do the sticker. So let me look at the pressure pots here. Let's find a good spot. I got two different stickers. So I got my stickers from Jen. Thank you for the sticker. And so this one, okay, it's that size. So let's see if we can find a good spot here, and then I'll get the camera in and we will apply the sticker. Kind of running out of room a little bit, but got quite a few. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, I think I figured out where we're going to put it. So I'm going to switch the camera real quick so you're not watching me move this one, but we're going to move this one above down for a second. We're going to come in from the side here. So there we go. So it's kind of this is the front, you see what's going on here kind of. This is the front pressure pot. I'm thinking we can kind of put it here. So I'm actually going to kind of wipe it off. I've been finding some of the stickers that I put on there kind of falling off because I didn't clean off the surface. So a little denatured alcohol, clean off the surface so that we don't have the thing falling off. And here we go. Just blow that off, make sure it's... And I think I'm going to put it kind of down. Yeah, because those things are kind of hanging down a lot of the time. So I'm going to put it up here, actually. There we go. Sorry that it's kind of on the inside, but from my point of view, I can actually see it pretty well. And when I'm putting them in, if I was mixing over at my desk here and I put it in the pressure pot, you'd see it right there. So it's a pretty good spot. Not too bad. Nice. All right, so I'm going to switch to this view again and then move the camera up. So anyway, so that's all we got for today, guys. I got to actually get some work done. I got kind of derailed this morning. I'm trying to get stuff done, but I got some blanks to cut and I got some blanks to pour. Don't forget, guys, I got lots of the glitter blanks in stock right now. Not like tons, but I got probably about between 5 and 10 of each color, and I got 6 colors of those. So pen blanks, and I got the stopper blanks now too. So, and I'm going to be adding some more of those probably this weekend. So if anybody needs any, glitter blanks, we got them in stock. The things are so fun to make. So anyway, I hope you guys all have a good weekend. Thank you guys all for joining the fun tonight, for sitting through another week of suspending objects in resin. I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing. I apologize for not kind of doing more stuff, but it was like, I was looking at it and I'm like, well, we can, just do something random today or continue on with this and hopefully like gain some insight. Like it eats away at me when I don't know how to do something like this. And so I thought most people probably would rather go on the journey and try and kind of, get the answer to this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. So anyway, yeah, Maker Central is coming up. So if you're in, in the UK or Europe or anywhere near Birmingham, England, and you can get over there. It's May 11th and 12th. It's coming up fast at this point. We're literally counting down the days. Marking days off the calendar, and we're getting, all the travel plans are all set. We're getting ready to go. I can't wait to see everybody that's over there. It's going to be a crazy, fun event. great weekend. So if you can make it out, definitely head over there. makerscentral.co.uk is where you can find out more information, get tickets. You probably want to get those early. I don't know if they're going to sell out or not, but you can just get them there. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the evening. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys all next Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, and we will do some more resin casting. Hopefully we'll be on to something new, and I'll have some answers with these blanks, and I can just kind of give you the definitive, this is what happened. Let's do something new. So anyway, I'll see you guys next Friday. Have a good one.